After the attack on Rivendell was repulsed, the One Ring went missing. The dwarves were determined to recover it before it fell into the wrong hands. Suspicion ran high amongst the dwarves, with some believing the elves were responsible for taking the ring for themselves. They couldn't bear the thought of an elf claiming credit for using the ring to destroy Sauron. In their fervour, the dwarves devised a plan to unite the banners of the remaining dwarven kingdoms and confront the elves in a decisive and bloody war. However, one significant hurdle stood in their way. The dwarves from the kingdom of Moria had been silent and didn't return their call. This had been an extended period of silence. Concerned for their cousins in the Misty Mountains, the dwarves from the Blue Mountains dispatched an envoy to Moria, hoping to rally Balin and his dwarves to join their cause against the elves. Upon arriving at Moria, the dwarves were greeted with a chilling sight. The once thriving kingdom had transformed into a desolate tomb. Its halls littered with dusty remains of fallen dwarves. It seemed as though these bodies had rested there for many years. Determined to uncover the truth, the envoy ventured deeper into the mines, desperately seeking any signs of life that could shed light on this tragedy. Days passed and the dwarves journeyed deeper until they stumbled upon Balin's tomb. Lying beside the tomb was a skeleton, its bony hand clutching an aged and weathered book of days. With trembling hands, they read the final entry inscribed within its worn pages. "They have taken the bridge in the second hall. We have barred the gates, but cannot hold them for long. The ground shakes. Drums, drums in the deep. A shadow moves in the dark. We cannot get out. They are coming." A sense of foreboding gripped the dwarves as they realized they were not alone at the depths of Moria. Suppressing panic, compelling them to flee towards the exits, and then the sound of drums reverberated through the tunnels, growing louder with each passing moment. Then, piercing the air, came the unmistakable screeches of goblins emanating from one of the tunnels. As terror consumed them, a deep, thunderous growl echoed through the mine, shaking the very foundations. Suddenly, a colossal beast materialized from the shadows, its form a menacing amalgamation of darkness and flames. It was a Balrog, an ancient demonic creature that once served Morgoth. As the dwarves retreated, holding back the fear from this formidable presence, their survival instincts kicked in, and they prepared to face the ancient evil head-on. With weapons clutched tightly in their hands, they formed a defensive line, ready to protect themselves and their fallen kin. The clash began with thunderous roar as the two forces met. The Balrog lunged forwards, its fiery whip crackling through the air. The dwarves fought valiantly, their axes and hammers swinging with relentless determination. Each strike was met with a burst of sparks and the roar of clashing metals as they desperately sought to weaken the Balrog's ferocious onslaught. But the Balrog was a force of unimaginable power. Its whip lashed out, engulfing several dwarves in searing flames and sending them tumbling dead to the ground. The dwarves' war cries echoed through the halls of Moria above the clamour of battle as they continued to hold back the relentless onslaught, their resolve unbroken. Using their kindred knowledge of the mine's architecture to their advantage, the dwarves utilized narrow passages and choke points as they fell back, hoping to limit the Balrog's movements. Dwarven archers perched on every elevated platform, letting loose a barrage of arrows towards the colossal beast. However, their efforts seemed futile as the arrows merely glanced off its hardened, fiery skin. In the midst of the chaos, a dwarven warrior, fueled by grief and fury for his lost battle brothers, charged straight for the Balrog. With an incredible display of strength and courage, he landed a powerful blow against the creature's leg, causing it to stumble momentarily. Other dwarves were quick to seize the opportunity, and converging upon the Balrog, they all fought with renewed Balrog was relentless. It unleashed waves of flames from its whip, consuming the dwarves in its path. The battle was an uphill struggle, with each fallen dwarf further igniting the flames of vengeance within the hearts of the remaining comrades. The clash continued for what felt like an eternity. The dwarves fought with all their might, their spirits unyielding, even in the face of such overwhelming odds. Some fell, their sacrifices remembered by the few that fought on. Finally, the decisive moment arrived. With a resounding roar, the Balrog unleashed a devastating explosion of flame, engulfing a significant portion of the battle. Dwarves were sent flying, goblins flying, their bodies all battered and scorched. But as the dust settled and the flames subsided, the silence fell over the chamber. The Balrog, though weakened, still stood, its fiery gaze fixed upon the last 5 remaining dwarves. Fear could not consume them. There was no hope of defeating this monster. They fled through the narrow passages and out of the mines. It was one of them that told me